What happened? I bombed last week. I just went
You
0 for
did
3.
0 for 3, you got your lock right.
I mean, the lock's always gonna be right.
I mean, well, if you bet against Carolina, it's hard to lose.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
What's going on with your hair? You look like your younger self there.
Oh, I'm just getting younger, dude.
All
I'm just
right.
out here. I'm just out here getting younger.
How's everything going? First and
Great.
foremost.
I feel fabulous. Wednesdays are typically busy days, but you know, I have nothing. I really, I'm not really a complainer. I feel like typically when like somebody's like, "Yo, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
It opens up the floodgates for them to be like, when,
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that interesting? And I always feel like when people ask you, what's new, what's going on, it's always like people just gravitate towards work. No one wants to hear about that.
Dude, totally. So, I don't want to get overly deep. I could talk to you about some things and stuff, but all this really important stuff like the NFL and us
Mhm.
predicting games,
Yeah.
this is like, this is the stuff that people really want to hear. They don't want to hear us, talk about what's it like when you have a child and how
Hmm.
does the relationship with your partner change?
Mm.
No one wants to hear about that stuff. They want to see who's going to win between the New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you pick or no, I bet the Saints last week and I guessed that line perfectly.
You took the Saints. You were right.
Didn't see a Saints win coming, but you know, we'll take that.
I mean, yeah, dude, again, in the important world of the NFL, who saw the Saints back to back 40 points, you know?
Yeah. And we'll get to that later, but it's
Not I,
the
not me.
Eagles and the Saints next week. I have that as my lock, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, for the Saints, you're down on the birds?
I'm real down on the birds. Birds are done.
Why? What happened? I didn't watch, man. I like again, like I'm still pretty locked into my Major League Baseball playoffs right now. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying, dog? Like I'm watching
Give
the
me a
the
break with this.
Rays, you know what I'm saying?
You
I'm
know why I
watching the
can't do
Orioles. Sorry, not
baseball?
them. Why? Talk to me.
We're watching, I got the NFL Sunday ticket package, as you know, every game in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my dad are flipping between like three, four competitive games. My
Mm-hmm.
brother is giving us Phillies updates off his phone.
Yeah, that's important stuff right
We're
now.
good. We're good on the Phillies. You miss one game, there's like what, 100 left?
It doesn't really work like that though. Now the Phillies' magic number is four, between their wins and the combined losses of the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves, that they win the division, So it comes down to like little menial games that we would consider to be menial end up mattering. I mean, like the Detroit Tigers are I believe 1.5 out last time I checked. So like there's some interesting pennant races for sure. So I don't know. I'm into that, but I can understand why 62 game season could be too laborious for, you
Laborious.
NFL mouth breathers.
Sure. Well, we're in September now as well. I
Hmm.
mean, mid-season, you can take a month off, you miss nothing.
In baseball?
Correct. NFL,
Yeah.
you can't lose a game. Statistics, you lose like 0-2, 0-3, your playoff chances tanking.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, the NFL season is very condensed, right? So it's
Hmm.
like, for instance, somebody reached out to me and asked me if I was concerned about my 49ers. And I'm like, no. It's so early in the season and teams are like, gonna get rolling. I mean, you can see that just based off of the scores. I think you texted me that like a lot of upsets or something along those lines, a lot of weird ones today or whatever, maybe. That the early parts of the NFL season, and I've mentioned this off camera, that I don't even really start gambling for real until like week 3 when things
Hmm.
start to like iron themselves out. I mean, the Niners are without Debo and Christian McCaffrey and stuff. And so you don't really, I imagine, don't really actually want to be hitting your stride. And you want to be playing your best ball, week 12, 13, 14.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, man. I mean, like the same thing though with baseball. Like the Phillies were terrible for a run there, I think in August.
That's
And it
right.
was just like pathetic. But, much like maybe NCAA basketball, like you get these losses out of you, and
Hmm.
then you get on your little run when the season starts to matter. So I don't know what it's like to be a professional athlete if you're actually like holding back
Hmm.
early parts of the season. Maybe in like to your point about MLB, maybe game 74,
Hmm.
homie's like, I'm not going to throw as hard as I could possibly throw right now. That could
Yeah. Or
happen.
maybe just, the talent shines through when it needs to. The better team wins, as they say, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, the gamers, man, that's for sure. That is for sure. But I big shout out to your brother for updating you on the Phillies now that it is late September and the magic numbers in single digits.
Yeah, I'll let them know. Just a quick review though, because, you know, I would like to take my lap if we could on last week.
Hmm.
You took Denver over Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had to see what happened in that game though. I didn't get to see.
Pittsburgh won.
Yeah, but like what happened?
Well, I didn't
Can we
watch
can
that
we
game
can we show
either.
some? Is this where a place where we can show some highlights?
Yeah, I could show some highlights.
All right, what? Yeah,
Let me get you some. I'll get some scores up here first and foremost, though.
yeah, recap because again like it's baseball season over here.
Yeah, so about what you would expect, a 13-6 win
Yeah, that's about right.
for
Wow.
the
So
Steelers.
so the Steelers just kind of just put the kibosh on any Denver offense. And so what?
Yeah. And
So
it's
that's
interesting. I think you mentioned something week one about, you trust Mike Tomlin as a coach. What happened there? You turned your back on him a little bit.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I picked Denver. Maybe it's because it was in Denver and maybe because Denver played Seattle tough first week. I forget. But again, like nobody knows anything in these first 2 weeks. Watch me just like totally hit my stride
Yeah.
week 3. I might never pick a game wrong again for the rest of the season. Post basically after week 3. I'll never get another game wrong.
Oh, we're sure looking forward to that. Pick number two, you went with Kansas City over Cincinnati.
That's right. That was a prove it game, and just because Joe Burrow has blonde hair, I remember
Hmm.
that. I remember that pick. Yeah, that was more being down on Joe Burrow's blonde hair.
You lost
And
that one as
what?
well because Kansas City takes the win, but just by one. Joe Burrow
That's
shows
right.
up a little bit.
I mean, I guess they Cincinnati covered, right?
Yeah.
Well,
26-25 game. It's a hard fought game.
it happens. I'm not mad at that pick. I'm a little disappointed about my Denver pick. I don't know what that was about. That's probably just
Yeah, that one will stick with you.
yeah, like, I'll get cute. I'm out here getting cute. Like you
And
said, you're
then
like, dog, you look young, dog. Like, I'm sure you look
uh
getting cute, dog.
flying by the seat of your pants a little bit.
Hmm.
And the last one, got us all. Indy and Green Bay. Green
Yeah, I
Bay
think that
takes
got a
the
lot of people.
win with Malik Willis. I don't think he threw many passes over like 10 yards the whole game, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow they get enough offense together. What's the final score there? 16-10. What is going on with the Indianapolis Colts? Can't put together any offense.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I haven't really watched. My connection here, and as I pick games, my so of it is rooted in my immaculate intuition that
Mm,
still takes shape in the first 3 weeks. But was my relationship in with calling that Shane Steichen was very important to the Philadelphia Eagles' success.
correct.
And when he went on to coach the Indianapolis Colts, I really thought he had something going on. Clearly, Anthony Richardson still needs time. I saw my boy DeForest Buckner ended up on IR.
Mm.
So there's some things they still have to figure out in Indianapolis. I think they'll be all right for sure. I'm still intrigued by Anthony Richardson, but I'm not going to be all gas, no brakes on the Indianapolis Colts, which I was. I thought they were farther along. But again, I have not watched the Indianapolis Colts play football at all this year. It was purely um, a pick that was revolved around Shane Steichen and his importance to the Philadelphia Eagles and wanting the Colts to succeed. Uh, so Eagles fans could just be miserable that Shane Steichen got away.
Hey, Steichen, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
I want
CH.
I want you to sound like amateur hour out here.
I mean, I don't know these guys. I never met him. Shane Steichen, whatever. He's never looked me in the eye and said, "Hey, my name's Shane Steichen."
Sure. Well, speaking
But
of young quarterbacks, what do you make of that the changing of the guard in Carolina?
mm, I think you got to protect Bryce Young. To be honest with you, I think that team needs a development all the way around. And when you start playing these guys young, and they're in a on a team that's underdeveloped. I saw this with Alex Smith in the San Francisco 49ers. He kind of just got thrown into the fire, and it just wasn't good for his development. So I
Mm.
think that you just have to protect Bryce Young at this point and get that team built up, get Andy Dalton taken over is the right decision, I think. I think Bryce Young shouldn't have started week one of his rookie year in yeah, for the Carolina Panthers, so that's my take on that.
Yeah, Mel Kiper sounding off said you didn't do him any favors. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. Save him some, save him some of the misery you're putting him through. I mean, tough time for the Carolina Panthers. I would
Hmm.
welcome. This is where I'd welcome my boy Craig in to talk to me about the Panthers. I'm just happy we have Christian McCaffrey on our team, not playing, but it's good to have.
Yeah, what a blessing that was.
And
Uh,
Terrence Marshall too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to develop Terrence Marshall Jr. as well, but
mhm.
sidebar.
Yeah, handing things over to the Red Rocket there. Who decent passer. I don't think things change for Carolina, but that is what it is. As far as my picks,
I think it's Red Rifle, isn't it? Is it the Red Rocket? I think the Red Rocket is something else, my dude.
no, I think that's what I call them though. In my household, at least. We're stick with Red Rocket. All right, with my picks, we had the Saints not only to cover whatever it was, 6.5, whatever Bush League FanDuel line you gave me there,
Hmm.
but they win outright. Another big one, a win
Hmm.
over the Cowboys. I picked the Bucks over the Lions. I mean, you were just feeding me easy ones. And then San Fran over Minnesota. Yikes. Didn't see that one coming. Also, it doesn't really go along with your whole NFL is rigged type of game you got going there. Why would they want to see small market Minnesota beat San Fran, top dog?
You gotta keep it spicy, man. You gotta keep it spicy. This happened last year. This happens all the time in San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we reeled off probably like 6 wins last year or whatever, it was, and we looked unbeatable.
Hmm.
Then Trent Williams and Debo went down, and I think we lost three straight or something like that. Also, how do people in general, I'm curious, when you talk about football, do you say we?
In what context again? Give that to me again.
Yeah, so like when you're talking about your favorite football team, you're like, oh, like we need to sign a better left wing. Do you say we or do you say they?
Well, my family being Eagles season ticket holders for about 20 years now, I feel like I'm part
Hmm.
of the team. I'm funding the product.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I go with. You don't consider yourself we when you talk San Fran?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I just caught myself saying it though, and I've never strapped on,
Hmm.
for the Niners. So
Well, that's because, you got a little fake allegiance going there.
No, I mean, some would say too far of an allegiance. It all comes down to when everyone, as you get older, is like, when did you stop caring about football? I think everyone's going to have that moment. When did you stop caring too much? And I
Think
think
fatherhood did it
essentially,
to you?
I don't think it was fatherhood. I honestly think it was the Super Bowl last year. And some of the Eagles fans that I've talked to recently about when did you stop caring too much? And it was their Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a really tough game for them with a broken heart that they just were like, look, I'm not going to live and die by every play. But I do think it's interesting that the NFL has uh, kind of like and like incorporated that like it's like they perpetuated that behavior of like every play matters
Mm.
and like people get really really into these games and to the point where their week is defined by their game on Sunday. And so, without getting overly into like the connection to the military and what football represents in America, but yeah, it just got to the point where I just like it wasn't fun to
Mm,
watch anymore. And plus with fantasy football on the side, I'm like, I want the Niners to do good, but I'm playing against Debo, so I
hmm
don't really want Debo to do well. So I just had so much going on. It's been a little bit more fun for me this year because I'm just watching the 49ers. I'm
hmm
not scrolling between three or four games, checking out what the Indianapolis Colts are doing. I don't
hmm
care. I don't have Alec Pierce on a fantasy football team. So um, things are better in my world for sure
hmm
because it's very focused. But as far as the script goes, I think, San Francisco early season losses are what it's all about before we just run the table post week 10.
Well, a lot of big market teams losing. I mean, I hear what you say early season. Um, they'll find a way. So I see what you're saying. Maybe that gives the smaller markets a little hope to keep watching.
Here's my question.
Hmm.
Over under week 9, Nick Sirianni fired.
Yeah, it's a good question. I was talking to my cousin last night. He's pretty doubting. He's a former NFL player. He played for the Jaguars for a little bit, little stint. Fucking
Calais Campbell?
no.
Mm,
Didn't quite make it in the bloodline.
mm-mm.
He was a lineman, went to Syracuse, actually played with Donovan during that
Oh,
time.
nice.
But yeah, he thinks Sirianni is on the hot seat, calling it
Gotta
his
be.
last year. And I would agree. He's making these calls and he's saying, "Oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do this." Afterwards, after the game, they're talking about in the locker room, Jalen Hurts was leading the speech talking about we're a player-led team. What the hell is Sirianni doing? That's what people are wondering. What is his role?
Yeah, I mean the results, right? It's a results, what do they say? Results-based
Results-driven
business.
league?
Yeah, so the CEO role of a head coach.
He's just
You don't
playing cheerleader out there.
yeah, you don't see it that much. I mean, you got John Harbaugh. You got John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't believe he calls plays offensive or defensive. And that works. Seems to work even though the Ravens lost to the Raiders.
They're in a little bit of a pickle themselves. They got to win.
That was I didn't see that one coming, but I have to
Mm,
give Antonio Pierce a lot of love. And there is something to be said about player-led teams, considering people who have played the game. I'm big on, and just in my world in general, I will never ask you to do something that I've never done, or that I won't do.
mm,
And so I think football players specifically, that's a good mantra. And I think if they're, in the trenches, so to speak, with someone else who has done that same thing, there's a lot of respect there. So Antonio Pierce beating the Baltimore Ravens, I believe that game was in Baltimore. Uh, if I recall, I could totally be wrong,
yes, I believe so.
but pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, look, man, Nick Sirianni, CEO roles. Is there a future, for the appropriate way to go about it? Hire a offensive coach, hire a defensive coordinator, and you kind of oversee the process. What I
Hmm
think seems to happen and why the 49ers have had continued success is the consistency in our offensive play calling, which revolves around Kyle Shanahan. He
mm,
can't be hired away. And
right.
what you're seeing with your boy Shane Steichen, he got hired away, and then you didn't see the success the following year. You have to learn a whole new, maybe not entirely new offensive system. So I imagine that's really tough. Consistency, I think, is good for players. That's another thing, sidebar that bothers me about basketball. These
Mm,
guys aren't playing on the same team for a long periods of time.
I hear that.
And I think it's good to have people on your squad that you've been playing with for quite some time, and I think doubly so for the people calling your plays and installing your systems.
Yeah, particularly for a guy like Jalen Hurts, still relatively young, just got his big deal, what, a year or two ago. Um, all these different offensive play callers. I was out there Monday night. What was it, 2 nights ago?
Hmm.
Fucking brutal, man. You
Did you
know?
stay for the whole game?
Yeah, I had to. I don't, did you see the ending of that one?
Honestly, I didn't. I watched maybe a series, and I saw a nice little first down run by Jalen Hurts. It seemed like he ran well.
He ran well in
Uh,
the second half.
yeah.
I mean, let me give you a little play-by-play here. So this is third down.
Hmm.
We're up 3 points.
Hmm.
Jalen's got Saquon in the backfield. Fake. They think we're running third and short. Saquon, give him the fucking ball up the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fake it, a little rollout to the sideline, wide open, right off the fingertips.
Ooh.
So, you got people saying, run the ball with this guy. You got other people saying, hey, great play call, Kellen Moore. Guy's got to make the catch, which he does.
I mean,
Um,
sounds like a no-brainer to me. He's got to make the catch. But look, this is life, right? Like, didn't Saquon catch a touchdown pass in week 1 and have 3 touchdowns overall? And then,
it's
the
true.
following week he drops a pass. This is how it goes.
Well,
So,
what it
yeah,
comes down to for me is, you shouldn't be relying on one play against the Atlanta Falcons, they stink.
apparently not that bad though. That's an away game.
Or maybe we stink.
We're about to find out. It's still super early, so we really don't know what's going on, but the script is being written as we
All right.
speak.
You want to get into picking our lines?
Yeah, let me know what's going on. Talk to me about what's going on this week. I will not be picking the Denver Broncos no matter what I do.
Well, you got a slate in front of you, or you need them all?
I don't. I need you to tell me.
Oh, man. We got New England Patriots and the New York Jets going at it tomorrow night, Thursday night
Oh, I love
football.
that. I love that. I was trying to push that on you last week.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's right. We got the New York Giants going to Cleveland, Chicago,
Giants in Cleveland. Ugh.
mhm. Chicago Bears and Indianapolis Colts.
Mhm.
Some interesting lines
You need me
here.
to pull up a slate for, are we doing give you three again?
Yeah, we'll do that. And then I think we'll do a parlay. We'll hammer in the parlay this week.
All right. All right. Well, why don't you feed me while I'm pulling it up? Go ahead.
Yeah, the first one I got for you, extremely interesting. A team that we can't figure out. Chicago Bears going at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are a
Mm.
1.5 point favorite. That
It's a
is
pick
an
'em.
interesting line to me.
It's in Chicago.
In Indianapolis.
Oh, it's in Indy.
So it's a strong Bears line, actually.
So the Bears are giving the Colts 1.5. So the Bears are minus 1.5.
No, the Colts are -1.5 at home.
Okay. So the Colts are giving the Bears a little bit of yeah, it's a pick 'em.
Mhm.
With that half point. Um, wow. Well, the Colts, I don't want to have recency bias, but like I still think the Bears have a ways to go. I think the Bears are farther along. And again, I'm pretty sure they won um week 1 with
Yes,
like
with no touchdowns offensively, I believe.
yeah, exactly, with special teams and defense, which is nice to have that.
Mhm.
But tough to rely on. Anthony Richardson, I haven't really, again, I'm not really in tune with what the Bears are doing defensively,
Mhm.
or if they're banged up. I think they should be able to run the ball with DeAndre Swift, though. Give me the Bears, man. Give me the Bears, just because DeForest Buckner is hurt, and the Colts weren't overly impressive against the Denver Broncos, but maybe Patrick Surtain is, a fantastic player
Sure.
and just, shut down everything. But this is a ultimate team sport, as they say. So I'm gonna say Bears defense is good enough. The special teams can make a play, and maybe Caleb Williams. Again, it's week 3, so it's show me something week 3. DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams. Show me something. I'm gonna go Bears.
Bears. I like that. I don't know if I like that pick, but
I mean,
so be it.
would you like the pick if I said the Colts? No, you'd be like, I don't know about that. That's one of those games where you're just like,
It
I don't
is,
know.
yeah. No
I don't
winners
know
there.
about this game. All right, dude. I mean, when are you gonna edit this video? Is this video coming out tomorrow?
Shit, if you want me to make a Thursday night pick, it sure will.
I'm just saying because that Patriots at Jets after you were super high on your boy Aaron Rodgers. You love you some Aaron
Love me
Rodgers.
some Aaron Rodgers.
So,
Come an extra treat, baby.
I mean, that's the Patriots getting 6.5, my friend. If they've in years past have completely dominated this relationship, and so
Brand
here,
new team here. Brand
yeah,
new
brand
team.
new team here, but I believe this team is also 2-0.
Yeah. And the Patriots play well again. Oh, no, 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 not 2-0. The Patriots lost to the Seahawks
Yeah.
in an
Okay.
overtime game, so played very well.
Against the Seahawks team, that seems to have, some consistency. But no, no, they haven't. They've got a new head coach. So anyway,
Mhm.
disregard all of that. Patriots plus 6.5. They're getting 6.5 points against the Jets in the Meadowlands. Thursday Night Football. You don't need to have the turnaround. We can always do a retrospective. You can always tell me, hey, this is what ended up happening. But I would
Mhm.
love to hear what you think is going to happen since here we are on Wednesday.
Yeah, I will tell you, I am taking the Patriots with those points.
Yeah.
Possibly, I won't say outright, but not out of the question. Rodgers is not blowing me away.
Mm.
Also, you might know better. You seem to be up on the offseason acquisition. So what happened to the Jets defense? They are not shutting people down like they were. If I recall last year, they were in every game based solely off defense. Zach Wilson just had to score like one touchdown.
Yeah. Again, super early, right? Small
Yeah.
sample size, but I don't believe like Will McDonald, couple of players. I mean, Hassan Reddick's holding out, and then they've gotten banged up. I think CJ Mosley's already hurt.
Mm.
So injuries, and then yeah, I mean, look, you're week two, and your star middle linebacker's already injured. So I don't know. Again, it's so early in the season that I think teams can turn it around. The Jets are going to be a tough defense all year. It's just a matter of what team's going to show up on week three, and you're saying that it's going to be a close Thursday night.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers' first home game for them. You want to say with that American flag again?
Safe bet, my friend. Safe bet. I like it.
Um, Yeah, I also want to ask you, where are you getting your NFL intel? For someone who's not keeping up with the games, but you're very up on the injury reports, that sort of thing.
I just read the sports news.
Paper?
No, the Athletic. Shoot, man, you got
Love
me.
the
You
athletic,
got me
yeah.
talking about my New York Times affiliation. This Clubhouse chat is not sponsored by the New York Times or
You
the
subscribe
Athletic
to
at all.
that? You paying a quarter over there?
They just have me, they gave me that little $8 special, and I figured now it's going into
Oh,
the election. It's probably a good time to stay up to date. But I'll tell you what, opening the news app is not something I enjoy doing. And I don't really do it, but I will
depressing.
read the sports news. The sports news again. I'm just kind of skimming through. But yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these are just things that come by. I come by honestly in my perusing
All
of
right, you seem to
topics
be
of
picking
interest.
up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ready for your second line here?
Mm-hmm.
The hometown team. Some might
Mm-hmm.
say you turned your back on them. We don't know why.
Mm.
Haven't cleared that up yet.
Mm.
Philadelphia going down to New Orleans.
Mm.
Nola. New Orleans, 2.5 point favorite. Cooking right now.
Yeah, they're cooking. I mean, they're hard to bet against too. After really two great performances, Alvin Kamara seems to still be a good player.
Mm.
Uh, Derek Carr, who I believe we have a clip of you saying how he's you know, mediocrity embodied.
I think I said, yeah,
Um,
definition of mediocrity. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's, tough call so far. Yeah, the Eagles defensively, and just what they have going on as a team, it's confusing. I'm not really sure what's going on there, and I do think it starts with the head coach. And so it kind of comes down to what you think the script is or the season is really for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Eagles beat New Orleans, a hot team in down there in Louisiana, then just the tone changes a little bit, right? Just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. And do I think that that's going to happen? No, I actually think the calls for Sirianni's head grow louder. So it's a two and a half point line. This is where it gets tricky, is I think the Eagles keep it close but still lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say 28-26. Eagles backdoor cover.
So you're taking the birds.
Taking the birds.
All right. Keep going here. How much time to say we got?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right. Might be able to squeeze it in. All
Oh,
right.
this is me now, right? I gotta ask you something.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. So, hmm. Okay. No, no, no. Ooh, I like this one. I like this. Out there in the desert. Out there in the desert, they responded to some disappointment about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s involvement week one.
Mhm.
And they opened up the scoring fast and furious.
Yep, sure did.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. had himself what some would call a breakout performance. Well, those same Arizona Cardinals are going to be in Arizona with a Detroit Lions team
Hmm.
that underachieved in a loss this last week.
Underachieved?
Mm,
Or
underachieved.
they just get beat by the by bake by shake and
Look,
bake.
I can't. I will not throw any shade Baker Mayfield's way. I actually I'm proud of. I mean, look, the same thing happened to me uh with JJ Redick, famously in a millie. I take responsibility for JJ Redick's career,
In a
right?
millie?
Yeah, so in a millie remix I had mentioned this is back in 2009. JJ Redick, a little bit older than I am, goes to the league and is struggling. He's struggling to kind of create his own shot, if you will. And I say, as a Maryland Terrapin fan, in the past, and I really do, Gary Williams specifically, rooting for the Maryland Terrapins, hated Duke
Hmm.
and disliked JJ Redick and how prolific he was in his college career. And so I had mentioned get to the pros and don't do shit like they're Redick, And that was
Like they're
just
Reddick.
talking about when
Man, it's
people,
pathetic. Yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
yeah.
But then
Recall that
after
line.
that, JJ Redick really found a nice little spot and a play style that really suited himself, obviously in a
Found his
newer
niche.
NBA.
Hmm.
Now he's the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So
Yeah.
JJ, if you're listening, just give me a shout and be like, dude, thank you so much, dude, for saying that. Um, but yeah, so similarly, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
One of those guys. I never really, put it in a rap song, but
Mm.
Baker after the first few years. But this goes to show you exactly things like Carolina. When you're in bad situations, there's not much you can do as a player to make them better. And so, Baker, he just kept his head down, kept working,
Hmm.
and it pays off. And some of the little flashes that I've seen of Baker when I do kind of just check in on a game, excuse me, he's been playing really well. So I've got no shade for Baker. I'm happy for people who people say aren't it's not going to happen for them in the pros in the next level, and they say, yeah, but watch this. And he seems like he's got something going on in Tampa. They were a playoff team last year, so um, yeah. So that's a whole sidebar on maybe you're right. Maybe Detroit didn't underachieve. I thought Detroit was farther along, but they're in Arizona. They're in Arizona this week at -3. So Arizona's getting +3 at home. Who do you think's going to win Lions Cardinals?
Give me Arizona.
Hmm.
I don't know why Arizona, they overachieve.
Hmm.
I
So
don't
you,
I don't
so
know
you're
why that
down on the
tends to be.
Lions, huh? You're not
I'm a little down on the lines, yeah.
you're not buying what Dan Campbell is cooking?
There's a lot going on in my head week 3. I'm a little down on the lines. I'm a little up on Arizona. I'm a little up on Bake.
Hmm.
We're all up on Bake. You might have to throw a little Baker line out there somewhere.
He's already done. He doesn't need my help.
Feeling like
He
Baker.
doesn't need my help.
If I had the over, I would take her.
That's you, baby.
Balling like JJ with the Lakers. There you go. A little
There
bring it
you
back
go.
home.
There you go.
Just thought of that. Speaking of which, while we're on the subject,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to a little music today. Poker
Mm-hmm.
Face, Kid
Mm-hmm.
Cudi, Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
Now Kanye says, she wanna have whatever she like. She can if she bring her friends. I tell her, hold up, born in 88. How old is that? Old enough. You familiar?
Mm-hmm.
I got the I got seniority with the sorority, so
That's why I love college. I
Did
mean,
you take that as a no deal, as a
dude,
little?
you don't know this story, dog? That
No.
verse was specifically for the I Love College remix.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah. Well, politics happened and it ended up on a Kid
Politics.
Cudi record. Yeah. So that verse was for I Love College.
What's with the
This is
politics of
a
music,
this
man?
I mean, some
I
people have
just
investments in certain things that they need to go well.
I just interviewed my pal Chuck Acid. You familiar with him?
Mm-mm.
Very good Philadelphia rapper. And he has a song with Orion's son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had to ask him. It's not on Spotify. So I was like, is this like a real collab you got going on? He's like, yeah, man. Like I got the verse. You hit me up. Label wouldn't let it through. I can't get on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that sort of thing.
It's tough, man.
It's the world we live in,
Well,
though.
if this could very well pivot into a music business podcast. You're already doing that with Teddy's Vinyl Club.
A little bit, a little bit.
But it's a gnarly game, and I don't encourage people to get involved in it, to be honest with you. Just,
Hmm.
make music and have fun. But the politics of it, the ownership of music, the stuff that comes out, management, what is a manager? It's such
Right.
a strange thing. But yeah, like these things happen more often than not.
All right, Asher Paul. We're gonna kick it back to two games this week and the lock. So let's get right to your lock of the week.
Shoot. I
Mm.
mean, what's going on here? I feel like we've got a Las Vegas Raiders team that just knocked off the Baltimore Ravens, who are a tough
Mhm.
team, and they've got Carolina coming to town, and the Raiders are giving Carolina 5.5
No,
points.
no, 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 no,
Is
no.
is
No, no,
Andy
no. You're
is
not
Andy
doing
Dalton?
another
I
Carolina
get
lock.
I tell the well is dry, my friend.
Oh,
You're gonna let me go first. This is a Raiders lock.
great,
Antonio Pierce singing
great.
singing Pierce's praises.
Asher Roth really sticking his neck out there this week.
Hey, look, man, you want locks? I got them.
All right, we will give you the Raiders with a lock. And for me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give these people a show. I'm gonna give them what they came here to see.
There you go.
We're gonna go with an underdog lock.
Hmm.
Give me, brrr, give me the LA Chargers outright over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hmm.
What do you think of that?
I'm fine with that. I don't think Denver presents a formidable test for us to know how good Pittsburgh's defense is. And so
Fine with that.
let's see what the Chargers are up to. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh coached teams specifically early in the season.
I think of
They
the
want
Chargers.
they
Oh,
want to beat you.
I just think of him slapping those shoulder pads on Herbert, and I go, yeah, yeah, we can take that 1.5 point line.
But Herbert's a little banged up for what it's worth. Missed practice with an ankle, just something you should know about.
Get that in. I'm sticking with it though. We're gonna stick
Stick
with
with
that.
it. Stick with it.
All right. You want to do a parlay?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. Let's wrap it up with your parlay for the week.
All right, so want to know. You
I'm
want to know.
thinking we do a situation where like we each start with $5
Okay.
and then we could keep track of our winnings throughout the season.
Wow. Okay.
You like
That's
that?
interesting. What I turned my $5 into?
Yes. And let's
Wow. And
say
that's what I
like,
have for the entire, and how many teams do I have to pick for my parlay?
oh, do whatever you want. If you want to be Mr. Conservative, like win everybody $10 per week, that's your thing.
Interesting.
And should you happen to bottom out and go to zero, it's just another $5 hit on your account for the
Wow.
year. Give you that $5 buyback.
Can I ask you about another game? Now that we've reset the clock.
You sure can.
I'm curious what you think about the Houston Texans going to Minnesota after the Minnesota Vikings beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, how about that?
Houston Texans.
Houston getting the 2.5 point favorite in Minnesota. That just tells me that Vegas does not believe in Minnesota yet. You watched that game, San Fran?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Minnesota definitely cooled off second half of their offense from what I saw.
I mean, Fred Warner is all world. He
Fred
saved
Warner,
that
Fred
game
Warner.
from being a blowout for
Mm.
sure. So, But that the Vikings defense looked really great.
Yeah.
It looked legitimate. It looked like it was, a confusing defense to go up against. So I don't know how to feel about Minnesota, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And Houston, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this. Just gut feeling is a little bit of one of those up and down, maybe not an early season team.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 2-0, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this could be a little trap game going to Minnesota for them. Kind of like Minnesota here.
Two 2-0 games, two 2-0 teams. I don't think it classifies as a trap. Fair, fair. Um, all right, just curious where you're at. All right, so if I'm putting a little parlay together and I only have $5 for the rest of the season,
Hmm.
wow, this is interesting. I like this. I like this. Ooh. The Niners are giving the Rams 7 in LA. That's pretty wild. With no
Hmm.
Debo, no Christian. I wonder if it's a breakout for Jacob Cowing. Um, hmm. Wow. Yeah, these lines are really tough. I think I got to do some money lines because
Hmm.
they've got Baltimore Ravens and Dallas Cowboys in Dallas plus 1.5 for Dallas.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Derrick Henry in Baltimore. It's got to be interesting. J.K. Dobbins in L.A. Um, so yeah, give me that. I'm gonna parlay $1 just because it's still week three. One of my $5.
Hmm.
So I can, because I don't feel good about parlays. I feel like you pretty much lose them. But I just want to see where I'm at. I gotta check in with my week three intuition. Give me the
Hmm.
Bears money line plus 104. Give me that. Give me
Hmm.
Miami, 4.5 plus 4.5 at Seattle with Skylar Thompson.
Oh, Skylar Thompson starting.
Yeah,
Mm.
and then give me. Oh man, what's this third game gonna be, my friends? Just 'cause that's how we do.
Gotta do three.
Uh, Give me the over in the Packers. Oh, Malik Willis at Titans revenge game, sort of,
Well, revenge
kinda.
game.
Over 37.5. Give it to me. Forget it. All right, and I'm just gonna bet $1 on that. That's plus 660. So
All right,
it's
give me
one
hit me with
dollar
that
to
one more
win.
time. I'm gonna run it back on here, get a little visual
Yeah,
recording of it.
yeah. So we're gonna do the Chicago Bears at Indianapolis Colts, the Chicago Bears money line.
Hmm.
We're gonna take the Packers at Titans over 37.5. And we're gonna take the Miami Dolphins points plus 4.5 at Seattle Seahawks.
Dolphins plus 4.5. $1 you're putting on this?
I guess, I mean, you're only giving me $5 for the rest of the year and it's week three. So it's like,
Yeah, I like that.
I don't
That's
think this is any representation of my frugality. It's just like, what do we got going on here?
$6.60 you're banking out there
You
possibly.
know what I mean? Let's see what's up. $10 wins me 66. But yeah, plus
Hmm.
660, I'm not mad at that. That's a nice little three-game parlay. What do you got?
I am going to go first and foremost Cleveland money line. I love anyone to beat the Giants and Cleveland. Little bounce back week two
Is that in? Oh, that's in Cleveland, huh?
in Cleveland. I mean, come on. Give me that. Give me New Orleans minus 2.5 over the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? Let me do two more. Let me take 49ers money line. Maybe that'll be it. 49ers money line and no, and give me the Chiefs. The Chiefs gotta beat uh Atlanta. And I will put yeah, let's do 250 on that. 250 to win $9.54.
I like it. I
All
like
right.
it. Can't argue with a lot of that, even though I think the Falcons beat the Chiefs, but
No, you don't.
riding high, man. Riding
Hmm.
high.
We'll see
Is it
how it
in
goes.
it's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Turkey.
All right, my friend. Nice picking with you.
All right, brother. I'm gonna go eat some pizza.
Baseball season, baby.
God bless you. I'm all American.
Peace.
See ya.